we reinvent the idea of experience to drive better engagement? And for me, the starting point with this is to ask a more basic question, which is, how do we perceive what a great experience is? Now, take a look at this picture. Okay, take a very good look. Now, what do you see here? I want you to turn to the person next to you and tell them the first thing that comes to mind. How many of you said an angry in-law with an axe? Okay, you people need help. This is the wrong session for you. How many of you saw a dog? Very good, you paid attention in psychology class. So here's the interesting thing. I think now that I've said it, you've all seen the Dalmatian, right? Okay. There was a group of German philosophers and psychologists in the last century who made very interesting observation about human perception of experience. They called it Gestalt. And what they said is that essentially we perceive an experience like a dog all at once. It's not like we're a computer and we go, okay, we're hunting for 4 legs, a wagging tail and a very wet tongue. Must be a dog. Of course, you can't see that. You either see the dog or you don't. And actually, perceiving what a great experience is similar. It's not like you go to an event and you go, fantastic, the coffee was exactly at the right temperature. The room was perfectly heated. The chairs were all symmetrical. We don't do that. We say, that was a great experience. And yet it isn't interesting. I mean, so often in the events and planning industry, we focus on those little details rather than thinking about the whole. And the reason why I think in this day and age it's so important to take that Gestalt view of experience is because there's a crisis in corporate America. It's a crisis that begins with this number, 70%. 70% of American workers are non-engaged, according to last year's Gallup State of the American Workplace. Not only are they non-engaged, this non-engagement costs US companies between $450 and $550 billion per year in lost productivity. Look at the person next to you and the person in front of you. Are they paying attention? If they're not, it's probably you I'm talking about. Here's the bad news. Keep your wallets safe, because those people are more likely to steal, more likely to negatively influence their other employees or attendees, miss workdays and drive customers away. Even more shocking, they worked out that only 41% of today's employees know what their company stands for and how their brand is different to their competitors. That's shocking. But that should excite everybody in this room, because that is your single best chance to get top management to take what you do very seriously. In preparation for this event, I had spent some time with an amazing lady. I spoke with Kelly Butler from McDonald's, the head of meetings and events. And I learned about the amazing work that McDonald's was thinking about using experience to shift engagement. One thing she said was that they focus on total experience design. They wanted alignment between what was happening on main stage and real takeaways on the exhibition floor. And the way they did that was take a wayfinding approach. Now, 15,000 people go to the McDonald's convention. They have over 1 million square meters of space. And what they did was that once people left the main stage conference, they built these pathways that people could take through the floor in order to actually see these things come into life. I mean, they even brought farmers in so you could see the supply chain in action. The whole point, according to Kelly, was to make sure that you design an experience that allowed people to feel, then know, and then ultimately do. That's the power of experience. But it's not just what you do, I think, in the physical event that matters. It's also how you design the stories that matter. One of the other people I interviewed for this event was Chris Anderson, the creator and curator of the TED events. And of course I was fascinated. I had to ask him, I said, Chris, why 18 minutes? Why do you just give people 18 minutes to talk? I expected him to give me theories about cognitive attention and like the perfect structuring of the mind. And he said, no, it's got nothing to do with that. It's all about negotiation anchoring. He said, if I told people 15 minutes, they'd speak for 25. But if I say 18, they know it's specific. So it's not 17, it's not 19, it's 18. But he said there was an unintended consequence of this, which was that people were so prepared. They were so coached that actually we found there was a new problem, which is what he called the uncanny valley. And the uncanny valley happens when someone's story is so kind of artificial, it's so on rails, that it actually becomes almost like an animation done by a computer. It's too real. That the storyteller has lost that moment where they're actually there with the audience, and it loses authenticity. So he said the key is to find that balance between brevity and also stories that have real passion and emotion. And this is relevant whether we're talking about 2014 or 2023. The art of bringing corporate messages to life is ultimately what makes experiences immersive.